Okay, welcome to another casual conversation inside Beauties in the Eye of the Reporter. And our guest today is Roberto. Everyone knows he's because it's one of the members more active here.
We're quite a few active people in there.
My intention is talk about vegetarian food, but of course, I think that I don't eat insects. I think that Roberto either, but
I accidentally do while running sometimes.
Okay, but I think that I am curious about one thing. You decided only vegetables, maybe many years ago. Okay, and I think that maybe there is a reason. I think that you decided to take this decision. Okay, please tell me about it.
Yeah. Well, John, I became a vegetarian in 2001. So we're talking about 20 years ago. Okay. And I remember I was watching a documentary on TV, and I saw how animals were slaughtered. No, it still impressed my mind. Those chicks on sort of conveyor belt, okay, falling down to a grinder, okay, and they were ground alive. This kind of scenes. And that was shocking. And then I realized that the better thing to do for me was to become a vegetarian, okay, because I didn't really want to keep on eating meat, okay, because I saw how animals were treated even prior to being killed, okay. So I'm talking about some industrial food like those chicken that live in battery cages, for example, okay, in those narrow cages and so on, a lot of things. And so it was really an easy decision to make for me, especially because I was not in the habit of eating so much meat at the time.
I have to confess that at the moment, not frequently, but from time to time, I eat some meat. But my daughter is vegetarian, and I take the decision that step by step reduce at most or to the most meat because I think that the way that industry treat with this thing is something not natural. Okay? It's not like humans, our ancestors hunting some animal because it's a necessity. It's like a necessity to eat. It's something natural. But nowadays, with our industry, it's something totally different. It's not related with that. Okay. But if, for example, if you think that industry change the way that treat with the meat, with the animals, you can you could change your current vegetarian life, or
I
maybe you are in this way forever and ever.
Well, it's a question of sensitivity more than anything else, which is very personal because I'm not telling you that people who eat meat are bad people. Okay, I wasn't when I ate meat, no? So I'm not telling you this, but it's an individual thing. Okay, I can't really eat something that once it was something different from the food as I intended to be. Okay, so for example, I don't see a steak in my plate. I see the whole animal. Okay, a cow, for example, with their feelings. Okay, I think they're called sentient animals. That means that they have their feelings. Okay, so I can't eat. This is not food for me. Okay,
I'm curious about another
even
thing.
though I agree with you that until a few decades ago, okay, animals were bred differently, okay, in a more traditional way. But then, especially with the introduction of beef in the United States in the late 18th century, okay, all of this generated a sort of industrial and mass production of meat that became a business, no? And today, my opinion, people eat too much meat.
I think that it's related with something that it's not sustainable. Sustainable in a long period of time, because maybe
Sustainable, okay, yes,
sustainable
yeah.
in a long period of time, because if we keep on killing animals in this way, it's impossible to follow this crazy thing to, to live. Okay, but there are there is there are different problems with the population, the population. Yeah, I think that it's correct. Correct. Population. With the human population, could be, or population. I don't know. With the human, because there are a lot of people living in the world now, and some experts consider that it's impossible produce protein enough for everybody. Maybe it's impossible just or only producing vegetables. What do you think about?
Well, there are some sociological problems related to the meat industry, because it's enough to say that 70% of the produce of in third world countries go to Western countries and make the animal feed with that. Okay, so we have these paradoxical situations where in the third world people are starving, and they could produce enough vegetables for themselves. Okay, but these agricultural products are actually intended for different purposes, like animal feed for Western countries, farm animals. Okay, this is the paradox of the thing. And as to the ratio of proteins, carbohydrates, and so on, I'd say that the most nourishing dish in the world is rice and beans. Okay, And this provides enough the right ratio of proteins, carbohydrates, and other elements that make it nourishing. Okay, so we should rethink the concept of eating proteins, okay, to be healthier, because that's not true. Okay, because the intake, I think it's enough to eat 25% of proteins in our diet, okay, to be healthy, because most of our energy comes from carbohydrates. No,
maybe
so rice, bread, rice, and other.
in our current diet or our daily intake, it's common put a lot of protein, a lot,
Mhm.
and maybe it's not something not healthy at all.
Absolutely.
It's better to bet on carbohydrates,
Carbohydrates or carbs.
or
Okay, you can
carbs,
use the short
yeah, or
carbs,
carbs.
which I
It's
prefer.
better bet on carbs instead of a lot of protein and of course a lot of yeah. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
About but
there's a misconception because proteins
yeah,
are actually
yeah,
good for our muscles. Okay,
yeah.
but
But
what gives us energy are carbohydrates. Okay.
I think that there are two points of view, maybe 3 points of view. There are people that like eat uh, this type of scarf food, or maybe I don't know the denomination, but like McDonald's food, okay, fast food, food unhealthy, totally unhealthy. There are people that like traditional food with meat, and there are people with that it's vegetarian, even better or vegan. I think that it's a controversial topic because there are a lot of people that don't like milk and cheese, but maybe you eat milk and cheese.
Yes.
What do you think about it?
Uh,
I think that maybe in the future you can take a chance to this type of food, or maybe you are happy with uh, your current type of food.
so I am a lacto-ovo vegetarian. That means that I eat animal products like dairy products and eggs. Okay. Let me say sporadically, okay, not that often. So I'm a sort of vegan from this point of view because
Yeah,
many days I don't eat this type of food. Uh, I don't know. There's so I take as a reference a quote by I think Roosevelt. Okay, that says just because you can't do everything doesn't mean that you don't do everything. What does it mean? That I'm very careful not to buy industrial food. Okay, when it comes to buying cheese and eggs, okay, I turn to local farmers, for example. Okay, uh, so I don't want to give money, okay, to this, even to the industry of milk and eggs. Okay, well, but there are some traditional dishes in Italy, okay, that contain eggs and cheese, non-dairy products. And I don't think it's a good idea to deprive myself of this type of food, okay, eggs and cheese. It would be easy for me to pass a vegan diet, okay? Because I'd say I'm a vegan many days during my my daily life, okay? Because I don't eat cheese and eggs every day. So that means that I eat veggies and beans and pasta and okay, this type of food. I don't think it's right, okay? Because as long as I buy products that are ethical, ethic, maybe, okay, I'm okay with my conscience, okay? So I'm doing what can I do from this point of view, but I think passing to a vegan diet calls for a lot of expertise from this point of view, because you
My
must be
daughter,
attentive.
my daughter has, my daughter eats the problem is when I come to the supermarket, and it's really difficult to see what product is something natural, something real, or and something out of the industry, of the food industry. Uh, but we try to eat the things, uh, the local things, the local products, much as possible. Yeah, it's something like to avoid plastic bags in supermarket. It's really difficult in my town
Yeah.
because when I go to the supermarket, it's full of plastic bags, and it's really difficult. But I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying to be more accurate and more respectable with the environment. Oh, perfect. An authentic, a real pleasure to be here with you, talking with you, and off the cuff conversation.
Yes, as it should.
Usual, as usual. Okay. Uh, and that's all for now. I think
Okay.
that in another conversation, you and me can talk about more about this topic. But I think that the video is it's too long. Okay.
Joan,
Thanks, Roberto.
thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And by the way, my wife says hi to you.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
It was a pleasure for me too,
Yeah, a real
John. I'm
pleasure.
very.
See you. And bye, people from campus. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.